Many organizations put in place a performance management process in the hope that they as an organization will improve their results and that also their employees will experience higher levels of job satisfaction and therefore will be more engaged in the business. This doesn't always happen, and it doesn't happen because something goes wrong right at the grassroots level, at the relationship level of the manager working with the individual member of staff or the employee in a given job. So let's see what can go wrong and what might be done about it. The circle represents an employee's job. And in an employee's job, the manager is endeavoring to get the highest performance from the employee, and the employee is endeavoring to get the highest level of job satisfaction for themselves. So let the tip of the arrow pointing towards performance represent high or highest performance, and then coming down the arrow to the bottom towards the word manager, that would be the lowest level of performance. A manager can get very high or very low performance from a person in their job, or somewhere between the two in the middle. In other words, varying degrees of performance. It's the same for the individual. If the tip of the arrow headed towards satisfaction means that that person is achieving maximum satisfaction, and the bottom of the arrow towards the word employee, that means the person is getting very little or very low satisfaction. An employee could be getting anywhere between the very highest and the very lowest job satisfaction in their jobs. So we can now look at 4 quadrants of possibility. And the first is on the right-hand side, where we have a person who is giving high performance, but actually experiencing a very low level of job satisfaction. We call these people the underused or the misused high achievers. How could a person come into this area? They're obviously giving their all and getting very good results, but they've slid to an all-time low on the satisfaction scale. Well, there could be a number of reasons for this. It might be they've outgrown the job. They can do the job in their sleep. It's no longer a challenge to them. It may be that their future career aspirations or their talent development needs are not being met and they're again frustrated. It might be that the manager is mismanaging them by giving them really straightforward and unpleasant tasks to do because he or she, the manager, doesn't want to do them. Even worse still, the manager could be asking this person to help out low performers, and therefore they're being penalized because they're good at their job. There are a number of reasons why somebody might be in this quadrant. Most of these are to do with the way in which they are being managed and improperly managed. And so if you were a person in this quadrant, what would you do? Well, you might leave, physically leave, join a competitor, and then you might pick up the telephone and headhunt and bring with you all the other dissatisfied high achievers into your new organization. But many people don't leave. They become what I call resigned on the job. In other words, they withdraw their discretionary effort and they begin to slip on the chart towards the bottom center section of the chart. And they become turned off, disillusioned, and they fail to really become engaged anymore with the job and with the organization as a whole. They withdraw all of their discretionary effort. And you have a real problem person on your hands. So now let's go to the other side of the chart where you have a person who's highly satisfied but giving a very low performance. How could this be? Well, a number of reasons again. It might be that they don't know what they have to do to be successful in the job. They have no performance objectives or targets. They haven't had their behaviors, the expected norms of their behaviors explained to them. They haven't bought into them. They're being undermanaged and allowed to get away with it. And some people actually enjoy having a good time, and they're not too fussed about not getting a result. But perhaps other people are new to the organization, and they're not trained enough to actually deliver what is required. And so the key issue here is the manager needs to properly manage this person by agreeing with them proper performance measures, personal objectives, key tasks for the job, and to be giving them feedback regularly as to how they are achieving or not achieving, so that that individual becomes very well aware of the performance requirement, and also, if it's necessary, they're given training to deliver that performance requirement. So the issue here is much tighter and a higher quality of management control. And now we come to the quadrant at the bottom of the chart, where we have an individual who is not only not performing, but they're not happy. And they're probably making it known to others that they're not happy. They've become almost the corporate cynic. They're negative about all the plans of the organization, and they can be very destructive individuals within the team in which they work. They've probably found themselves in this job for the wrong reason. They've been moved because they haven't performed elsewhere, and they found themselves here where they no longer can use their gifts and talents. Worse still, they don't even believe in the future goals and objectives of the organization. There is, at this stage, no psychological contact in place. There is no engagement that exists with this employee. The time has come to try and part company and have a career counseling session whereby we hope that they will go and join another organization where they're going to be a lot happier and a lot more productive. And so to the last quadrant, where you have this highly satisfied, high achiever. We say the best performances are willingly given, and this person is effortlessly giving of their best. They are bringing all their discretionary effort to the job. They're working long hours and enjoying it. They're hungry to take on more and to grow and develop, and they're probably very aspirational. They're very achievement-driven, very goal-driven, and it may be they're not always that easy to manage because their expectations perhaps are greater than can be matched by the organization and the manager. So you need to keep growing the job around this person and exploiting their talents and potential and growing them so that they are becoming a bigger person and they're getting more feedback and you're spending more time with them and hopefully giving them more rewards to retain their services for the future. So here we are. This is the performance satisfaction matrix. Think about it in terms of where are people on your team at the moment, in which quadrant. They may not be in these extremes that I've just described, but they may be somewhere in the middle of the chart. Think about what do you need to do to improve their performance, but at the same time, improve and develop their satisfaction in the job. This requires a quality dialogue and sitting down with them to get a better understanding of your expectations with regard to performance and their expectations with regard to satisfaction. If you manage to do that, you will retain people's long-term capacity and capability to give you and your organization their best, which is in the best interests of everyone.